We are live, I think.
Maybe you're live, maybe I'm not. You ever think about that, huh?
Okay, we're live now. Welcome everybody. It's me and Arrow. We're doing Horizon Zero Dawn. Again, as usual. We've got a beanbug with us.
Unfortunately.
What? You have a problem with the beanbug?
Not really.
There we go. Okay, let me make it so that the audio is only on the stream. There you go.
Oh boy, I'm gonna save that one for people to be in chat.
Oh. Okay, let's pop you out so that you can be captured. There you are.
Oh, is this it?
We gotta get the tiny arrow window going.
Yep, it's just a picture of an arrow.
Here you
No one
are.
knows why you have it on the stream, but it's there.
Horizon. Horizon.
Yep.
What did I do with my phone? Oh, there it is. It's kind of useful.
Phones? Nah, it couldn't be.
Continue, please.
So I might have an extra task for you today.
Oh?
Assuming, yep. Okay, yep, this is it.
Tasks? Isn't that an Among Us thing?
Yeah. You're gonna do it, or you're an imposter.
Oh no.
And you wouldn't want to be sus, Elena, would you?
You know what's funny is I'm kind of interested to get the special edition Among Us.
What's that?
It's like this big, like big package with a bunch of stuff in it. Like there's like a
That
plush.
sounds fun.
And there's
Oh,
like posters and stuff, and
that's cool.
I mostly want the
Would
plush.
wait, okay, so me and Cassie and I
And it
know
comes
at
with
least
a
one other
physical
friend of
copy
mine
of the game.
all want to do an Among Us stream. Would you do that with us?
Maybe.
Because, like, I've heard that you may or may not be into Among Us, and I'm not sure which it is.
You might get me in there. Me.
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it.
But yeah, they're making physical copies of Among Us.
Hell yeah. No, you can be sus in the real life. Oh, hello there, Ruby Hexagon.
Hello. I remember that username. I remember who you are.
Protect your anointed so she can cleanse this filth. We may never know what she saw on the mountain. I don't think we're ready.
I had a dream I was watching someone stream with Biss. Except for, just like with video games, like when I dream about video games, I don't dream about playing the game, I'm like, in the game.
In the game?
Yeah. It was like, we were like sitting literally in front of these people while they were streaming.
Oh.
And like one of them like shook my hand after they were finished.
Thank you for your performance. So, Elena,
yeah.
before you get started on that quest, do you want to zoom into where you are right now, ish,
Okay.
on the map?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay, I'm waiting to see it. And if you go up a little bit and to the right, there should be a ruin. We're gonna go there today.
Can't fast travel, invalid location.
No, it's not. I think. Where are you? It's by where you are at the minute. Oh yeah. That ruin's. Yeah, you highlighted it. You highlighted the right one. Yeah, you can't
Okay.
fast travel the ruins. You can only do it just
Well,
fire.
it was green, like the campfire, so I got confused.
I know it is a bit confusing.
We're just gonna mark it with a B.
A B for butt.
Yes.
That's your marker.
But yeah, it was what's her name? Snaps Cube in the
Oh
dream.
yeah.
And I remember well, so it was we were like sitting on like a flying couch. I remember in like above like a parking lot or something. I don't remember exactly anymore. But you still had to talk in the chat, right? Despite the fact that you're just sitting next to them on a
Oh,
flying couch. You still had to use the chat.
interesting.
And Snap, her name is Penny, right?
Yeah.
So in the dream, my brilliant chat message was just Penny. Just
Penny?
replace the N's with M's, yeah.
Okay.
This old place.
So yeah, that's the dream I had last night.
In years. Wonder what I can find.
Aloy says, wonder what I can find. I better know what it's gonna be.
Oh, do you?
I don't know what you brought me here for.
I brought you here to get destroyed by the secret ultra boss.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought you brought me here for.
Aw, shit, I've been found out.
Yeah, I meant Pemmy Snaps Cube. And then also in the dream, after the stream, she was apologizing that she's not going to be streaming for the next 2 years.
Oh shit, you with your awful chat message single-handedly destroyed Pemmy Snaps Cube's will.
Well, except for that was because she was going to be on somebody else's stream from now on for the next 2 years. I don't know how it was decided that it was going to be exactly 2 years. But, there you go.
I see.
And then in the dream, after this and I were just like outside in the city, I guess. And we were just like going to walk home or whatever. And then like this just huge guy with a knife then decides that he's going to attack us.
Okay. Sure.
And like, so we start, rather than like we like you see him like start coming, and when we start like running away, but he's huge and somehow is like absurdly fast and catches up to us easily, even though we had a big head start. And then like this is like fighting him or something. I don't remember much anymore, but I remember this massive guy trying to get us. It's kind of wild. The stream is a good time to talk about these dreams that I have. It's a good place to archive my dreams. I have no idea where I'm going, by the way.
Yeah, well, you passed the area that like I wanted you to be in, so we'll find it. I believe in you.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Have I just gone in a big circle? I think. Sometimes I wish that you had a flashlight in this game.
It could be useful. But Aloy doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, they wouldn't have that technology. Which
It's funny 'cause
reminds
they have
me...
a focus, which probably could do something similar, but...
Did you see... Were you shown the thing in Pokemon Legends that they just showed?
No.
Where you have a smartphone?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, despite the fact that it takes place like 200 years in the past.
Wait, oh shit, really?
Yeah.
God.
Sounds like I fought Sloth from Full Metal
As if I could be
Alchemist.
less impressed by the Pokemon, like, lore.
Yeah, they just give you a smartphone. It's like the Arceus phone. Well, technically you're not supposed to pronounce it Arceus. It's like one of few Pokemon to be given an official pronunciation.
Okay.
And it's Arceus.
Is this your crime? This is like Elena's one crime.
Is that I say Arceus?
Yeah.
It's because they don't want it to sound like arse.
Well, too bad, Nintendo. You can go some other place.
Yeah. You have a smartphone 200 years
You know
ago.
what's funny is like this is like one of the few places with bodies.
Yeah, I remember seeing them before.
I forget if this is like the last place they hung out in, and maybe
Well,
that's
yeah,
why.
it's weird that there would be bodies, because what was the thing that the robots did? Is that they eat the organic matter.
You misheard then that they purposely buried these facilities far enough away that they wouldn't have any emissions, like in or some way of like hiding from the robots, so they could be safe while they worked on it.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming this is the last place
Well,
that
yeah,
the
that's
humans
what
were,
that's why I was saying that this must. I was just positing that this must be. They must have like been really protected, because they must have died of natural causes instead of the robots.
yeah.
Also, I have no idea what I'm doing in here, Arrow. I've gone like in circles twice.
Well, have you seen anything that looks interesting?
No, I've been
'Cause
scanning.
I definitely saw you pass something that looked interesting. A while back, though.
I got a
There's at least
log.
2 things that are interesting, and one is the thing I sent you in for.
Damn, I don't.
Just
Found a
remember,
couple
peek
more
through all the
logs.
doorways.
The doorways? There's only
Like,
been.
look through every doorway you come across. It is. Oh wait, Elena, is your category set to Psychonauts 2 still? It is.
Oops! Wait, no, I fixed it.
Yeah, I see Psychonaut 2 and also Psychonauts 2.
No, I have it all filled in. Did I never click done? I thought I did.
Maybe not.
I took the time to write that all in there.
It happened.
Damn. Okay, that's a doorway. Is this just the way I came in? Doesn't quite look like it. This is deeper. There was a bunch of bats.
Okay, you're at the very beginning then.
Okay.
Because like how it works is there's like 2
This is-
layers, and
this
the
is
deeper
where-
layer is
this
where you
is-
fall down as a kid,
This is where I'm
and then the
becoming
higher layer is where you
Batman.
leave. Yeah, that's where you became Batman as a kid. You fell down a well. Your parents died. That's why Aloy has no parents.
Aloy's gonna be Batman now.
Yeah,
And the scary bats.
she's trans too. That's why she's Batman. Or yeah.
So this is from the beginning of the game then, huh?
Yep, it's the one you play in as a kid.
I didn't play this game as a kid.
Oh,
I was all grown up when I started playing this game.
yeah. You mean you weren't born in like 2017 or whatever?
Yeah.
Damn. What's it like to be?
Wait, if you were
ancient?
born in 2017, you would be the same age as this game, right?
I guess so. I'm just guessing on the 2017. But
Did you play this game as a 1-year-old? That would be
as
impressive.
a 0-year-old even?
I want to get over. There's a metal flower. I want to get over there.
Then get over there. You can
I
do it.
can't.
Use the power of your will. Use your willpower. Do
Oh,
it.
wait, I can break
Do it.
this.
There you go.
Patterns on this flower are so strange.
Yeah, you can't break those when you're a kid. You don't
Oh.
have a big stick.
Have stick will travel.
Okay, the things, the titles and stuff fixed now.
Good. Oh, there's the bats again. She's definitely gonna be Batman now.
Yeah, there's 2 bat triggers. There's like 2 paths that both have one.
There's a bunch of bats. Let's go meet a bunch of bats. They have bats at the Oregon Zoo. Fruit bats.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weird smell in the room that they're in.
It's probably bat smell.
It smells like a fruit smell, but like incredibly strong and weird.
That's like gotta be like a rotting fruit smell then, I bet.
Yeah, because they eat fruit. It could be the smell of their poop.
It could also be that, yeah.
Fruit poop.
Fruit.
They have 2 different kinds of bats there. They have flying foxes, I think, and
Yeah, I've seen those.
they have those little round fuzzy
Area
ones.
back there.
Hmm.
I wonder if I can find a way into it now that I'm older.
I wonder if I can find a way into it now that I'm older, she says.
No.
It's only because she's older that she can get in there. A power cell. I knew that was going to be here.
Yeah.
I knew that's what you were sending me here for.
It's the only one not attached to a main quest, so figured we might as well get it while we're here.
So there's going to be one more somewhere.
Yep.
And then we can become Iron Man. She's becoming all the superheroes.
Not Spider-Man.
Well, you know how it is.
No, I don't. How is it? Tell me.
If you're Batman, you can't be Spider-Man.
That sounds like a shit rule. Why would Batman not want to be Spider-Man? Spider-Man's like,
Not too much already.
You have to pick between, like, it's a binary choice between Batman and Spider-Man.
Bats
You can't
and spiders.
have both. One
bats and
precludes
spiders
the
are
other.
polar opposite.
Yeah. You cannot be less bat than being a spider, and vice versa.
Interesting that Halloween is like a holiday that contains both then.
Yeah. Oh, what if that's what I did for Halloween? What if I made the bean spider instead of the bean bug?
Yeah, that could go. Or you could be like silly and be like, I don't know, what's another?
The bean bat.
You can make it like glitched out and call it the bean bug.
Ah! I don't know why I get so hyped up for Halloween streams.
Halloween is literally the best holiday, and and the fall is already the best set of months.
Yeah,
So
the
it gets
fall
like
is
a
my
double
favorite
whammy
season.
of like the best. Because Halloween's like the most interesting and most fun to celebrate holiday, I'd say.
It's also the easiest one to find games themed around to
Yeah.
do, because they
Perhaps
don't
because it's
necessarily
very
have to
beloved.
be holiday related. They can just be anything spooky.
Yeah.
Can I just fast travel
Yeah,
out of
that's
here?
true.
No, I can't, because I can't find my way out now.
I think you can, can't you? Or maybe you can't fast travel from a ruin.
No,
Yeah,
because
you'll
you can't
find
get
it.
to the main map. You're in this map.
You can. If you go up a layer, can't you?
Oh, there we go. Hey, it worked. Oh, good.
Okay, so where
I
are we
was
headed
totally
then?
lost in there.
Where are we headed? Are we doing
I
a bit of
guess.
climb?
Just the main story. Especially if
bit
we're
of
gonna take a
climb.
break from this for a while to play Soma.
Okay.
May as well make story progress today. Yeah, so
That's true.
this year for Halloween, I'm doing Little Nightmares with Cassie, and I'm doing Resident Evil 4, and I'm doing Soma with Arrow, and I'm doing Kid Dracula.
I'm probably doing. I'm doing Stasis, and then whatever other like smaller games happen to catch my way along the way, catch my eye along the way.
I hope I can
Wait,
get
actually,
through...
there's one other game I want to do too. It's called like High something. I forget what it's called. Summer's something.
I hope I can get through Resident Evil 4 in 1 month. I'm gonna try and stream it twice a week, and also fairly long sessions. And I'm gonna use the strategy of always having a rocket launcher for every boss battle, so that'll help make it go faster.
I don't like that bit about Resident Evil. Like, it just doesn't appeal to me because of that stuff.
Oh, well, this is the only game I know, the only game in the series where you can do that.
Well, I mean, like just like the whole. I always have a gun solution.
Oh,
I mean, it's not exactly like that. That's a little reductive, but like,
I mean,
you know what I
always
mean. I'm just
have-
not as much a fan of that. I think in horror as other stuff.
I mean, Resident Evil keeps you with really low ammo all the time.
Yeah, I know. I've seen mate play of like 7 and 8 a bunch, and
Also,
bits and pieces of others.
at least, I think my least favorite thing in Resident Evil was in 2 when you can break the knife.
Oh, that's funny.
In most Resident Evils, you just have a permanent knife that you can just always
Yeah.
use, but you have to keep collecting new ones in Resident Evil 2 because they break. Or after you use them on like there's like a like when you get grabbed by a zombie,
Thanks for the trail.
you can get out of it by using the knife to attack them. But the second time you do that, the knife gets stuck in the zombie and you can't get it anymore. Oh wait, those guys are just right there. Oops. I did not see them because I was busy talking about Resident Evil. But that was really
Good morning,
silly
Chroma.
and kind of frustrating sometimes because the knife would just, like, you could see it. It's like, it's right there. Just like pick it up, Leon. Just get it. It's right there.
We had a lot of discussion about horror games yesterday in chat, and I mean, my opinion is fairly limited because I don't have much experience with them. But I kind of like the idea of a knife breaking. It seems like it adds some tension and not just like, oh, now I just pull out the knife and just do that.
Yeah, I think it was just that I felt it was too silly when you lose the knife because it's just stuck in the zombie.
Oh yeah, that's kind of.
And you can just clearly see
Especially
it there,
if they
stuck
die.
in the zombie. Yeah. The zombie is killed, but your knife is stuck in it and you can't have it anymore. And it was always after you
squeaked out.
It was always after you do that exactly twice. Like the first time you keep the knife, but the second time you do it, it gets stuck on the zombie, and it's like, well, why? Apparently, that was just in the remake. Did it not? Like that felt like such a like random detail. I figured it must have been from the original, because most of the stuff in that game was from the original.
Oh. I'm just a fool. Don't look at my camera.
Oh. Only the remake
It's
of
a
2 has
camera
that?
of fools.
That's such a weird choice. I've never
That's-
played any
yeah,
other
that's
Resident Evil
interesting.
game that had that, so I figured it must have been from the game. Were they like, did they decide that that would make it more difficult or something?
I guess so.
This is a weird choice.
Going down
To
fast.
keep collecting more knives. I love the Resident Evil series though. It's like, it's just become one of my favorite game series.
A lot of people do.
It's just fun. My favorite, I think I've told you before, is Revelations.
Yeah, you've said that.
That's also the first one I played, but I really like the monster designs in that one better than most of the other ones. Because a lot of the other ones, they're just zombies.
Yeah,
but that one
Chroma,
had
that
like
would be
weird,
neat.
weird fish creature zombies, weird slime
Oh,
zombies.
that's more fun. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They looked more like weird, like horror creatures than they looked like zombies, which I appreciated.
Horror terrors, maybe.
Like I would say
Yeah.
they were more akin to the monsters in Amnesia
Watchers on the other side.
than to zombies. They were
Horror
called the
terrors.
ooze.
Hmm. Is that because they went ooh?
One of the
Is that
funniest.
what they just called werewolves?
One of the funniest things that's ever happened to me in a video game happened to me in Revelations as well. What was I gonna say? Oh, here come
Boy, now what?
these things. The
Those things.
sneakers. I forget what they're called.
The sneakers?
Yeah. 'Cause
Oh, those buds.
they become invisible and they sneak. Oh boy, there are very many of them. But the funniest thing that ever happened to me in a video game happened in Revelations. There's a mode in the game called Raid Mode, where you basically just like replay the levels, but there's like extra enemies and the focus is just on the combat.
Yeah.
And it's a multiplayer mode, so you can like play with somebody else and go through that. And there's like multiple go-throughs of all the levels you do, and they like the enemies. There's like different variations on them, and they get more difficult as you go along. You also get better weapons and stuff. But anyway, one of the variations is just that the enemy becomes very small but very fast. And there was a time where there was one of the. Well, it like speeds up their animations too, which is funny, which is part of this. So there's like a mid-boss. It's like this big, huge, round thing with like a saw blade arm and stuff like that. And there was a tiny one, and it was like across the room from me, and it was just sort of like stuck and like was just doing like a really fast idle animation. It was really funny, and I was like looking through it through the scope of the sniper rifle, and then I shoot it, and then instantly it's gone, and it runs all the way up the stairs, like it runs all the way across the room, all the way up the stairs, all the way to me, and does its instant kill attack on me, and I'm dead because I shot it from across the room. And it was so funny and also terrifying. And I will always remember that moment. Just instantly arrived because I shot it once. And I love that it still has the instant kill move, even though it's now tiny. I liked the raid mode in that game too. I ended up 100%ing it.
Right on target.
And you could also play it online, which was cool. I did that with friends a few times.
That's fun.
That's
It's always nice when there's multiplayer.
That game is interesting too because it was made for the 3DS specifically. I think it's the only Resident Evil that was made specifically for a handheld. It wasn't like a port, you know?
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure that they ever did they? Well, no. Okay, well the Gamecom, I think,
All right.
successfully had a Resident Evil port on it. That was terrible. I don't know if any of the other ones actually came out. I mean, there's some tech demos for like Game Boy Resident Evil, but I don't think it was ever actually released. Right? I still think it's funny that they insisted that it's called the Gamecom and not the Game.com, even though they put in the trouble to put the dot in there. Like, if you didn't want it to be called the Game.com, why did you put the dot there?
That's a good question, honestly.
Just so you could be pedantic about it and feel better than everyone. Is that why they did it? Luminous braiding. Boy, I love to pick up some luminous braiding.
I love to wear a luminous braiding.
It's like how battle.net is pronounced battlenet and not battle.net.
It's true.
What
Why
is-
would you
what
ever
is that?
pronounce the dot? Like, it just feels like extra work, I guess. Okay.
These things are screaming when I walk past them. Oh, there's a bunny.
For the trail.
Wait, this is a really terrible noise. I am
What
sorry,
noise?
chat. These things that scream when you walk
Oh,
past
the
them.
stalker mines. The little go. They like make them alert to you.
Yeah, but I killed them all,
They're-
so...
Yeah, but like they still have their little like warning things. You don't like fireworks? Just I mean, that's basically what they are, right?
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have now watched a entire anime series
Oh, what have you watched?
because Lynn showed it to me the other night. It was
The whole
Plastic
series?
Nason. Because the whole series is only half an hour altogether.
Damn. Okay, one of the short form ones then.
Yeah, and it was really... I felt like nothing happened, and also too much happened at the same time.
Interesting. I don't know that one off the top of my head.
Cassie has actually seen that one, she told me.
Interesting.
She saw it at a friend's house years ago, apparently. It was... Well, the premise is that it's these three girls who are in a plastic model making club.
Oh.
And they,
And
like
so
each one,
Plastic Sister.
That sounds
each
good.
one,
Okay.
each one has a plastic model on their head the whole time through. But also they abandon the plot of the plastic model club like 2 episodes in, and they don't
Wait,
actually do
really?
anything with the plastic models anymore. But they still have one on each one of them still has one on their head. But yeah, like the first 2 episodes they do stuff with the models, and then after that, nope.
Oh god.
It's just a bunch of weird stuff. None of the plots felt like anything was accomplished or happened in them, and I felt like, I don't know, I didn't know who these people are, or I felt like I learned nothing about any of the characters, and they didn't do anything. It was really something. There was also some weird surrealist stuff in it, occasionally. I'm like, oh, I was so where I'm left just like, oh, that's a thing that is gonna happen in this world. Okay, all right then. They can't keep up the plot across a half hour. Nope.
Oh my god, that fight. Was
I feel like
bad.
that might be part of the joke, though. 'Cause it is definitely just supposed to be funny. And it has really expressive faces. It's like every time they are drawn, they're like drawn a little bit differently. It's like, you know how a lot of animes do, they have like moments where they will like change the art style or like draw the characters like chibi or things like that,
That away.
Mhm.
or like a scene. This is kind of just, it's always doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like a short form anime. There's lots of short form anime, and they tend to be like that. Not all of them are.
It's
but
just all, well, it being called plastic is has double meaning, because it's both that they're in the plastic model club, but also that the way they are drawn is very plastic. They like change form and shape. They have extremely expressive faces all the time.
I don't think that's what plastic means, right?
Plastic means like stretchy and malleable.
No, that's elastic.
Well, no, if you say something is plastic, that means it's like really changeable.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
This plastic is rigid in a lot of cases.
Well, words have different meanings, Arrow.
No.
Plastic is also just a descriptor of how a material is.
I don't like it. You can't make
Plastic.
me like this.
So elastic means if you stretch
light
something, it
trouble.
stretches back into place. Plastic means if you stretch it, you have like permanently changed the shape of it.
No one uses plastic to describe something flexible. This is not a thing that happens.
Excuse me?
I've never heard anyone describe things like that.
Well, promises there are way more kinds of plastic than you'd really think of.
I mean, that's true. I can imagine that.
I don't
I know
like
there's,
how many enemies are here. I'm gonna
plastic
try
you
and
can,
just
like,
leave.
Reform and stuff like that, but like...
I'm gonna look this up. I think it's called plastic and elastic deformation. Plastic deformation. Plastic deformation is the permanent distortion that occurs when a material is subjected to tensile, compressive, bending, or torsion stretches that exceed its yield strength and cause it to elongate, compress, buckle, bend, or twist. So see, I was right. I
I
remembered.
don't think... I've never heard anyone use, like, actually talk like that, though.
An elastic deformation is the opposite, where it returns to its former shape after being stretched too far.
Get me in here, bitch.
Some things can be both plastic and elastic depending on the circumstances. Like, if you stretch it a certain length, it returns to its original shape, but if you stretch it too far, then it breaks. Chroma says they've heard it a handful of times. See, I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I don't doubt that, like, that's what it says, but I just... I don't know. I don't like it, because it feels like it's just counter to the colloquial... Like, to, like, what you would actually, like, normally hear and talk.
Oh. I mean, I've heard characters and stuff referred to as plastic before, or art styles referred to as plastic. So that's why I didn't make this up.
This is my hill today.
This feels like the sort of thing that usually happens with me and Biss. And
Yeah,
Biss is
I
the
know, it
one
does.
bringing up the terminology, and I'm like, that can't be real. But in that case, it's only because Biss has like fooled me on that before. Biss has made up things before, and so now I don't trust them. Hello, Ash.
Hi, Ash.
Back to the path, Aloy. Path is on the other side of this water.
Oh, you're not a ravager.
Go, Aloy! Run!
Are you?
I can't find the path that the map is marking out.
Okay, well, I just finished killing all enemies, so maybe I can help.
There's too many, I can't do it.
Yeah, I died in my first attempt.
Run, Aloy! I can't find the path!
Oh,
Ah!
I believe in you.
Has to be the path. There's gotta be a way to climb up.
Like, the only thing I can think of is people use it in reference to, like, brain plasticity, but, like, I don't know, it
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
there's that
feel
too.
right to use it, like, and, like, when I describe something, I don't like how it feels to describe something like that. 'Cause plastic to me is more associated with, like, plastic as you would normally see it, which is sometimes flexible, mostly rigid, but, like, not really, like, a thing I'd use to describe something that stretches. Because stretch to me feels different than
I
just,
think
like, bending.
plastic as the material as we know it is like a different use of the word, essentially.
It is. It probably is, but yeah.
It's a word with two different definitions, essentially. my god, I can't. I can't. Where am I supposed to go?
You're close. I think.
It's just I'm being attacked. I'm being harassed by giant robot birds this whole time.
And murder.
I can't. There's too much.
That's interesting, Chroma. Oh, you're right next to. Oh, you left. Oh, no, you're shooting at the birds.
Lights down.
When I hear plastic, I usually think like shiny and lightweight and not that strong.
Huh. Plastic can be really strong.
It definitely can. I just like that's what I usually think. Because like when you hear something described as strong, you don't generally hear it described as plastic.
Part of the reason plastic is used so much is because of its strength.
Well, it's relative strength.
And also, plastic, there's like a lot more things that it is than you usually think. Like,
Oh yeah.
Kevlar is plastic, for instance. Like bulletproof vests are made out of plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Maripets.
Never heard of that one.
Maripets probably. But
Also, so Hot Wheels Unleashed comes out today, which is a game I've been anticipating greatly. It's my most anticipated game this year. And I hate how pre-orders are sometimes, because like you pre-order it because you want to get it when it comes out, right? But then it's like, oops, the shipment didn't get there on time, and it's like, well, what did I pre-order it for then? Like pre-ordering things often feels worse than just getting them when they come out. But anyway,
yeah.
I don't think it's going to get here today because, well, the shipment still says that it's going to arrive here today before the end of the day, but the last location it was in was Reno, Nevada. Not even Oregon yet. So
These will keep.
whenever it gets here, I'll do a little stream of it. But
Yeah, that's the big deal with the Neopets right now, Ruby. I just saw that like Lil Nas X has also started doing NFTs, which is just like great.
who's that?
They're like a queer like rap art. Well, I don't know if it's. I don't. Do they rap? I don't know. They're music artists, right? And they're very popular and very famous, and they were really cool. But I guess like they're doing a line of NFTs now.
We've been discussing those in the server lately.
Oh yeah.
NFTs.
It's wild that they're still getting made because I feel like we already saw some of like people being like, oh wow, these actually don't have any real worth.
Yeah,
But I guess
I was gonna say I've seen lately people talking about it, essentially saying that they aren't actually what they're marketed as or what people think they are.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like we saw the rise and fall of like I don't know. It felt like we were starting to see a fall in like the NFT markets because like we started seeing more artists being like, oh, I can't make enough money off of these. It's kind of been a scam, and then like artists who invested in them, not just artists who were
well
saying that from the start. But now I guess it's just still here. It actually hasn't gone yet. I thought it was getting better, but it hasn't.
Well, yeah, because now it's not artists making them. It's just people who want to do the NFT things and making like really crappy art, and to get in on the NFT thing.
They were there
That's
from
why you
the
have all those
start.
weird pixel art guys. Well, they're the only ones left now then.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw people mentioning that they aren't actually attached to art. Like people, like they say that they are.
No, they
but
aren't. They've
there's
never
no-
been.
They can't, like, there's literally no material
You
connection.
can't attach. That's not how digital things work.
Like, it's just like a verbal agreement that it's attached to the art, and so like there's no legal change of ownership of anything. So they're basically selling thin air. Like they've managed
I mean,
to
it's like
they've managed to make a speculative market over literally nothing.
it's like an item. You know, it's like anything digital. When it's just an arrangement of like switches in that are like electronic, like anything can reproduce that exact set of switches potentially.
They said
Now, software often tries to obfuscate that and make it harder, but I saw someone talking about that, and I was just hoping that it was like a hypothetical chroma. That's not cool.
it's like I don't get why it's become such a big thing, because it's like they've managed to fool everyone.
Well, it's
That makes
because
sense.
right,
It's
you get the people who invest in them, and then don't want to be like, oh, I've got nothing to show for it, so now I have to defend them, otherwise I'm under attack, right, or like stuff like that, and it's just like, yeah, they're just shit.
Yeah, that's why somebody was saying that it is a scam, because they're marketing it as something it is not.
Absolutely.
The hidden.
Wait, can't you already use? How do you use an NFT as a profile picture though? Because at the end of the day, it's still an image, right? Like, what is using them as profile pictures? How does that differ from our current use of profile pictures? Does it like link back to like the auction site or whatever?
But yeah, it's like you still don't materially own anything. They said like it's just like attached to a URL.
It might
That's it.
even be like just a badge, honestly, like the verified badge. They might do that somehow. Like provide proof of purchase so that we can like give you the verified NFT collector.
Yeah, but
badge.
then they look so terrible.
Oh, absolutely. But like
I don't
people
like,
people want to believe they don't. It's like an emperor's clothes
that's why
situation.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say, I was like, this has to be some kind of prank. Like the people who've made these things must know they look terrible, and they're just trying to prank everyone who's into this stuff.
I think it's more malicious than that, but yeah.
I mean, a prank can be malicious.
It can, but a prank implies less maliciousness than like most acts.
They're trying to make them look foolish.
Oh my god, Ash. I gotta wonder, like, why do these people, like, where do they get this cash, and is it worth it to, like, do that shit to them? Like, I don't understand how anyone could think that's worth it. I guess it might be, like, NFT companies itself? I don't know.
I was watching a video about this weird, or how there's people trying to make a market bubble around classic video games.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that happening a while back.
Yeah, and the people involved, of course, were also involved with NFT
I mean, look
stuff.
at any GameCube game, right?
Well, that was different. Like,
Is
this
it?
is the thing that's happening is them just selling games for like millions of dollars.
Yeah, but GameCube games are all also like I feel like all the like Nintendo games have been outrageously overpriced for a long time now.
Well, they weren't that bad, right? Like this.
No,
is
they
like a
weren't
whole
as
other
bad,
level.
but they were still overpriced. Like they were still
Well,
like
there's only like a couple, and they were. It's just because they're rare. They're
I
hard
don't
to come
think
by.
that justifies it.
This is what they were doing with this stuff is way different.
I don't think it's any different though. It's just a matter of scale. Like one of them was like, "Oh, we'll make it seem like it's less of an issue," and this one's like, "Well, fuck it, we're just gonna go for the moon."
It's because like most GameCube games were sort of like they were in a purchasable price range. There's just a couple that are pretty rare and hard to come by.
Oh, that makes sense, Chroma.
I would have said that sort of the biggest problem in games collecting before this stuff was just like Pokemon games being absurdly expensive for some reason.
I mean, that is a bubble.
I don't think there's anything here, so I'm not sure why I'm sneaking.
I'm gonna BRB real quick.
Okay.
Also, Ash, that sounds fucking disgusting. That's shit.
People always act surprised when they start doing NFT stuff and everybody abandons them, and then it gets replaced with like the really annoying people who are into that stuff. It's like, what happened to my fans?
Do they think they're guarding?
They're always confused.
I doubt they think at all. More like an instinct. Gathering them to a
I
grave.
feel like many people are uninformed.
Damn.
Oh boy, everybody's after me. Those ones have guns on them that I can take and use, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Arrow, I was just saying that, like, I often see people who start doing the NFT stuff become confused when everyone gets mad at them.
That's what I don't understand. How can you be like so online that you know about NFTs and then not know that part?
And also there's the fact that, like, you then
What
end
the
up
fuck, Ash?
being followed by all of the NFT people who are annoying, and then they like, why are all these annoying people here now? What happened to my fans? Apparently that's what Neopets is going through, I've heard. They've now attracted all of the NFT people to the site. At the expense of their already existing fan base. How long until they're confused? This change.
NFTers are just like gay discrimination. What the fuck is this I'm reading? Like, oh, you being mad at me for doing something that's literally ecologically and harmful to a bunch of shit and a waste of time and energy.
You're literally buying nothing.
Is
as well.
is just as bad as me discriminating against you for being who you are. What the fuck is that shit?
Then there's the thing that people have been dunking on that was going around where it's like, oh, the only people who complain about NFTs don't even have any.
Why would we?
Yeah, I saw someone I follow on Mastodon was like, that's not the sick own you think it is, because like, if I don't like them, why would I have them? Why would I buy any if I don't like them?
Is this like this jealousy bullshit?
There was a lot of funny versions of that people were making, but I forget all of them off the top of my head.
Stalkers in the open. Watchers on the other side.
God, I don't even know if Warframe ever unbanned the word gay. And like, it wasn't like a ban. It was like,
Oh.
if you said like I'm gay, you'd get kicked from chat for 2 weeks.
Oh, thanks.
Like that kind of thing. There was a couple words like that, and they just never did it.
Fantastic.
All right.
And I don't buy any bullshit about like, oh, but we don't want people using it as an insult, because like, fuck that.
That's the Twitch mindset as well on that word.
It's like, let us speak for ourselves.
I had to unblock some of those terms because it determined that it was being used as an insult when it wasn't.
Like, Warframe literally didn't do anything to celebrate Pride, from what I can tell, until literally this year.
Oh.
Which is when they finally introduced like a thing for Pride Month. And like a reward for players. Like, there was no Pride profile pictures, there was nothing like that, stuff like that. Like, it was just, come on, Warframe.
This reminds me of like usually Oregon's pretty good with stuff in general, but they actually, probably one of the worst things about Oregon was that they didn't just like, so gay marriage wasn't just illegal here in the 2000s. It was made illegal in 2005.
Oh,
Oregon.
fun.
Yeah. And then they fixed it later, like it was made legal before it was for the entire country, but it still, that still happens somehow.
Oh. Yeah, I don't get that either, Ash. Just like, again, it's that they constantly value that short-term profit over anything else, right? Or something exciting or buzzwordy, rather than like an actual like thing that would people still recognize that it's kind of like expensive, but they'll pay money for.
Remember with the video game market thing, they're literally just selling the games to themselves at inflated prices to make people think that it's worth money.
That makes sense. Magic cards, similar things.
It's called,
honestly,
the video said it's called shill bidding.
I mean, you saw what happened with Pokemon cards recently. Same thing. Just people being shit.
There was a guy who said that his dad used to do that with comic books. He said he'd buy like a comic book that was rare for like $3,000 and then later put it up for auction for like maybe like $6,000 and then just buy it back himself and then just put it back in his collection for a couple years, and then he'd put it back out again for like $9,000 and so on and so forth. And
that's basically what happened to like...
Yeah.
There's entire formats that are basically just inaccessible in Magic the Gathering. And because that, the players of those formats like can't even play them, and so they're miserable. But like no one can break into them because the cards are old and aren't seeing a reprint. And the company that prints Magic the Gathering cards have this like weird thing they did like ages ago, where they made this list and then promised that they'd never reprint these cards ever again that were on this list. And like so because of that, you just get fucking people buying them out and raising this like bubble for a piece of cardboard. And it's just like frustrating as all hell, because like there's like a bunch of ways to solve this problem, and that is just you have no legal obligation to keep this promise, so break it.
Yeah.
Or just make it so people can play with fake cards in your tournaments, so that the game can actually happen. That would be nice.
Because it's like, yeah, the way the game works, it would literally change nothing if the card is a real card or not, as long as it says the same
but
thing.
People
on
love to be like, people love to have that sense of
you could
ownership,
literally
right?
have
and
like
they're literally basically NFTs. Like, let's be real.
You could literally have like a piece of paper that just has the rule of the card written on it, and that would.
Yep, that's the most basic kind of proxy that people make.
That would work. Like
it really should be, Chroma.
Can't be too prepared.
It really, really fucking should be. But now because of that, and because of like how like fucking like pumped up like they have just like increased the production of Magic product by like 1,000,000% lately. So it's just become so impossible and so expensive to keep up with. It's just, how could you ever do that? And why would you do that to yourself?
I doubt they think it.
Yeah, Ash, I would engage with Neopets if they made plushes. That's what they really need to make again.
They didn't they? Like way back when?
Yeah, they need to make. Yeah, but they haven't made them in years.
Damn,
If they were making more plushes, I would get those. I love plushes.
Yeah, plushes are great. Plushes are great. You can.
I got some Neopets plushes a couple years ago because we found them in an antique shop. Some of the stuff that they had there wasn't that antique, obviously, but it was like it was one of those things where it was like different people.
Variable, generally.
Different people would bring in their own stuff, and then the store would just sell it for, like, you'd like rent out like a little display space, and you'd have your stuff.
You're
there.
Right, Ash. Engagement is never as powerful as retention. That is exactly what's happening in Magic the Gathering now. Is we get people pushed at like making a bunch of big product for engagement, and then older players dropping out because of lack of ability to keep up, whether it be money or just mental resources or whatever. And it's just become this big old mess of like all the old players get shafted, and the new players don't stay.
Also, I used to have a couple Neopets plushes, Chroma, but I don't know where they are either. One of them was like a little keychain. I think it was a pet. It was a Noil. It was green. I used to have it on my backpack as a kid. And then I had like a special edition rainbow Kachik plush that we had to go to like a specific store to get.
I think I somehow ended up with one of the Wolf Neopet ones, like plush wise.
I think I might know where the Kachik is, but I'd have to go look them. Also, Sosha said, sorry I'm late, but, well, it's okay. I'm just glad that you've come to join us.
Yeah. It's never a bad thing to be late.
And if you ever,
and
I saved the stream, so if you want to see what happened that you missed, you can always go watch it later.
She just slid down that rock. Yeah, that's absolutely true with Ash. I don't know why I started saying Wispblade. Heck, I mean, like, I'd do that for Warframe if I just felt a desire to keep up with it at the minute. It's a fun game. I like it a lot in a lot of aspects.
Critical hit. Alright, that's one down. Oof. Where did you come from? Where did you learn to fly? There's so many enemies, Arrow.
Absolutely. You can only do so much.
Trying to knock the gun off. I think I did. Where is it?
Knock the gun off. I think you're doing a fine job so far.
I'm doing my best.
I mean, just look at all the MMOs that get kind of revived by fans and have private servers now. Just because like people played it when they were young or a while
Are
back. or
people
liked
doing
it.
that with Darkspore?
Yeah, it's been around for a while actually.
Oh no, I picked up the gun and then got bamboozled!
Oh. I think a year or so ago, when I was looking at Spore Stuff, I found that there was a community for Darkspore that was like playing.
Nice. I watched a Spore Iceberg video the other day and it was...
We could
It's fun.
play a co-op stream of Darkspore.
Oh dang.
That could be interesting. I actually have a physical copy of it. I bought it for $4 when I built this computer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Darkspore is really, really cheap
Oh yeah.
because you couldn't actually play it.
Absolutely, Ruby.
It's funny because that means that the original Spore outlived Darkspore by a considerable amount. 'cause
Sasha,
that's still
Darkspore is
going.
like they took a kind of Spore-esque like clothing, maybe Creature Creator 2, and then they made
Yeah,
like
you
a
can make creatures,
Diablo-esque
but it
game
was
around
more
it.
limited.
They just made like a Diablo-esque game. I don't know
Speaking
what
of
you call those.
Diablo-esque, I want to play the game Fate again sometime. I grew up enjoying that. It's so like Diablo, it's not even funny. Like the potions and everything look, and the scrolls and everything look exactly the same. Like just the exact same icons. Because I think they had the same artist.
Thanks for the rant, Ash. It was good.
Plus, there's like a sound, there's like a little music thing in Fate when you die that I really like and I want to have for my games, or like something like it, but I can't remember it exactly, and it's not on YouTube, so I feel like I just need to get the game and get a game over and listen to the song and maybe record it
What
myself.
game? What game?
Fate.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
It's basically just exactly like Diablo, but sort of more cartoony.
Okay. I think I've heard the name.
It had the same artist as Diablo had, so like the icons for the potions and scrolls and everything are like exactly the same.
You know what would be neat, Ash? I mean, okay, I'm just like spouting bullshit at this point because it's total like kind of like pie in the sky bullshit. But if there was like a fan like kind of like not a remake but a remake, you know what I mean? Like we changed the stuff, but it's basically the same mechanically. It'd be neat if like they could like do something where they just like you input your profile and they just copy what you have there and then let you start from that. That'd be really cool. Obviously it'd take a lot to set up, but fans can do some great things sometimes. There's one MMO that's really weird that I really like that has a complete revival by fans. Has had it in like the last couple of years, and it's really good. I played it a lot, and it'll be on stream at some point, probably. That's good to see. That's good to see, Ash. I'm glad that the actual community seems to be pretty much all on the same page.
I was gonna say. Oh yeah, the Spore Iceberg thing reminded me that there was a unreleased like Spore like Sims type of game where you could take the
neat.
creatures that you made in Spore and have them as like a virtual pet.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
And there was a trailer of it where it looked pretty much finished, but they never ended up releasing it.
Oh, that's shit, Ash.
Spore just kind of
They're Neopets.
fizzled out all at once. Like they had all this stuff they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just sort of stopped.
Yeah, it's sad too, because like that was, I don't know, I really enjoyed the community there when I was like in it. I made a lot of friends. There was lots of like gifting back and forth, like just be making a thing and calling a gift to whatever.
Yeah, I remember
was.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like it was really cool to see. I mean, and I was on the forums too, so like I also had like a lot of chats there. I actually had a friend or two that I'd play Minecraft with outside of that because of that.
I remember
And
people
then
would make
we've
mailbox
lost contact since.
would make
but-
mailbox creatures to just send messages to each other in the
Yeah, I had a
comments.
mailbox.
I always liked to write lore for all of my creatures, so I wrote lore even for the mailbox creature. I had like a justification for why it was a creature shaped like a mailbox.
My spore page. Good fun.
Also, the iceberg reminded me that there at one time was a achievement for getting banned, or for getting a creature
Yeah,
banned.
that's right. That's right.
They
I
removed.
remember
It was
that.
called Bad Baby.
Yeah, it's so funny to me that they made that an achievement. No, Ash, it's good. It's good to talk about. If nothing else, just so people can understand that, like, this is not a good thing, and they should have a stance on this.
Alright, I've got a gun now.
Oh yeah, I remember webcams. I had a friend who was really into webcams.
I never got into it. I was into UB Funkies at the time.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
have.
never got into any of those, but I think also, like, even if I had, I wouldn't have really had, like, the funds or, like, stuff to, like, keep current with
For a
them.
while, well, UB Funkies weren't very expensive because they were like such small little figures. So I collected a lot of them. Anytime that I got money from anything, I would get them, and they would be like the only thing on my birthday wish lists for a while. I was really into that. Until eventually I was like, I would rather... eventually I decided that I wanted my hobby to just be video games in general. It's like, instead of putting all of my gifts and money and everything into this one game.
Oh, fuck.
What? Arrow exploded.
I'm so sorry! I forgot I have buttons on my numpad set to, like, some of those things. And I had it open, and I was just typing in a number in a window, and that happened.
I heard Bossa Nova and then an explosion.
We'll just say that's what it was.
These birds are still killing me. There's only 2 birds left, but I'm dying.
You got this.
Their ice stuff
those birds.
is beans. No, please. Don't ice me up. No. No.
Oh no.
Oh my god. If I still lose this, I'm going to be 3 upset. Not 4 or 5 upset, just 3. That is still pretty upset. I've saved, so now if I die, at least I don't have to redo the whole fight. I think. Oh my god, you're right here.
It's funny because I'll go on score and there's like one person who still like is like making stuff in my buddies list, and so I just see them. Oh, there's 2 people.
Did I put you in my buddies list? I think we
I
did
don't
that.
know. Probably.
I think I remember us doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, I knocked over the bird. Finally.
have no other
I got them all. Finally. Oh, yes, also the iceberg video brought up that you can befriend the groks.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's
that's
apparently
fun.
extremely complicated,
Should've brought
and they
I
didn't
know a
go
lot of
over how to
people
do
who
it in the
did
video. Apparently, if you do that, instantly everyone else hates you.
Yep. They just will send you messages out of nowhere. I remember someone tried to like calculate the time it would take to actually like control every planet in the Spore galaxy, and it was like somewhere in the 99-year range.
Yeah, there's just too much. I mean, there's like already the groks.
You
There's
wanted
like
100% of
8,000
space stage?
planets.
Oh shit! Chroma just said that they wanted to do the thing I just talked about.
Oh, oops.
The space stage is like all right, but like it doesn't have lasting like. Fun.
Yeah, I've never been able to like stick with it very long.
Like, it's fun to go through, and then like you get to the end of it, and then you maybe play a bit more. And
It's
then
just
you kinda
because the
go,
thing
like,
that I always
why?
wanted to do was just do terraforming stuff, but it takes so long to really be able to do much in the way of that.
Mhm.
And I've never managed to stick with it long enough to get.
I mean, the thing that kept me in it for a
To
while
get
was like
that stuff.
Galactic Adventures. They're fun, but like
I
and
only
you can
bought
level
that
up your
last
captain
year.
or whatever and get new like abilities.
I only
but, like-
finally got that last year, so
Even that, it kind of.
I wish I could have had it when I was younger and more into Spore. But
Yeah.
I didn't get things back then. People,
I bought a laptop like a year before I got into Spore, and Spore had been out for a year or so. But it was like I got Spore,
I
I
didn't
got
have
all of
money.
Spore at the same time. Like Galactic Adventures had just come out or something, or it was like pretty recent at the time. So it was a little bit later than like the start, but I'd played it at a friend's house, and I was so into it that I was like, I'm gonna buy all of it.
I finally got Spore about a year after it came out.
Mm-hmm. It is really fun, Ruby. It's neat. It's a cool game.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing that Iceberg went over that I wanted to talk with you about Arrow, was it was talking about, because I had heard about this before, but I didn't really know the extent of it, but it was talking about how much more stuff was intended for Spore than ended up being in it.
There's like a
and the
bunch of
reasons
editors
why.
that are in there still. At the very least.
There was like different stages that were going to be in there that got cut, and like the game was originally supposed to have a more serious
S in
tone.
chat for the aquatic stage.
Yeah, it was supposed to have a more serious / realistic tone that had to get changed because EA wanted to lower the rating and appeal more to kids than adults or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was going to be the aquatic stage, and the aquatic stage was also was originally supposed to be a chance for like a completely different branch.
Says Chroma.
They said like you would be able to go through the civilization stage and everything as an underwater civilization if you wanted.
Oh, that would be so cool. Oh.
Yeah, like you could just stick to living underwater if you wanted. And they said Will Wright was like, we're gonna, like, if this gets cut from the main game, we'll put it back in as an expansion later. That didn't happen. They even had listed on their website at one point the Depths expansion for Spore.
Will Right, more like Will Wrong. Oh, they had a depth expansion? Oh, God.
And then, yeah, it didn't happen.
Society, if we'd gotten the depth expansion for Spore.
But yeah, also there was supposed to be a stage in between Tribe and Civilization where you just had like one city and it was supposed to be focused on like agriculture and art and
That'd
culture
be cool.
and things like that before you got to the technological city and taking over the planet. It's supposed to be a smoother transition. And there was they were also planning a molecule stage. The molecular stage, where you'd build the molecules that then become life later. But they changed it to the panspermia theory instead. Oh no, don't tell me I have to fight the giant bird for real this time. Oh no.
Elena, you cannot. Yeah, they stole your farming sim stage. It is unbelievable, and so there is a plant editor in there that you can launch.
Yeah, you're supposed to. Yeah, I've played with it before. It's just really glitchy, and it can crash the game.
What's the other editor that's in there?
The extra cell editor, which just has
the
more
extra
cell
editor.
parts.
Yeah.
That one you can save, and you can view your creatures, and you can send
I've
them
seen
to people.
people save plants before. I even saw someone publish one once. I don't know how they managed it.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. But it published as a creature or whatever.
Yeah, it was weird. But people were doing like really interesting hacks to like share things sometimes with like manually editing the PNG files and stuff like that. Like, it was pretty
I
wild.
remember using a hex editor in Spore before.
I never did that.
That was to get asymmetrical creatures.
Wait,
Before
asymmetrical creatures
that was
had all the-
a thing.
Did it get
No,
patched in?
there was an update to make it so you could have things that be asymmetrical. Yeah.
Okay.
It was when they added the bug parts, the bone parts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Or maybe it was after that? I don't remember, but it was definitely an update. Arrow, I can't fight this thing. I can't believe the game is making me fight this. I don't have any healing.
Just a stick. You'll be fine.
I don't have any healing.
I actually have an old Twitter gif, or not gif, but like video I made of just like, I went up here and tried to fight this thing with just my stick, and then at one point I swung my stick and it just launched me off of the cliff and I died.
Oh. Also, I was going to mention there was supposed to be a hut editor for the tribal stage.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That got cut. Like, there was supposed to be a lot of editors. Like, you were supposed to have creative control over, like, literally everything. But basically, they just got rushed by EA, is essentially why all of this stuff is cut.
It'd be really neat to see, like, a new Spore project. I don't think it'd ever happen, but, like, if you could, if a company did try that again, I'd be really excited to see what happened.
Like, they were working on the game since, like, 2005, and I don't think that they intended to release it in 2008. Like, they were hoping to work on it for years.
Yeah.
But EA is like, nope, you gotta release this now, and we're gonna make a franchise out of it, and then we're gonna abandon it.
I don't know if fans could really do it, but I'm sure they could, because fans understand a lot more about Spore now than ever with all the mods out there. I wonder if a company or
like,
a fan
I like the Spore that we got, obviously,
make, like,
but like, I do like. Apparently, there's a game, I forget what it was called, that they mentioned that is supposed to be like that.
Oh, Chroma's cast an evil spell in chat. Also, shut up, Sasha. I don't want to hear that ever. And also, like, I'm not telling you to shut up. Just like that is a cursed thought that you've said.
It was almost that was almost kind of with the robot parts there.
What are you Oh, Jackie morphed into a space cat. Are they an Animorph? Are there Andalite bandits among us?
Apparently, for a time you could just go to the customer service on Spore and they would give you the robot parts for free.
Yep. I think I had some like downloads, and then I think I actually got them by having someone shared a code in like the forum somewhere. But like I saw a lot of people getting them through customer service, and I had to re-enable them through customer service when I transferred, like, because like when EA started doing Origin, I had to like go through customer service to get my Spore stuff on there, including the bot parts. It was weird.
I hate this thing. This bird. This is my nemesis.
It's just a bird.
It's too big.
I'm not gonna time you out again, Sasha. I feel really bad.
I should.
Especially because like I did it twice.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I should ask. Would you mind being a mod on the channel, Sasha? By the way, as I've said, you're like here all the time. I feel like
Sasha promotion stream.
it would be a good. You would be a good fit. And then you never. And then you will never have to contend with Automod ever again.
Or get timed
You'll
out.
have power. You will have power.
By another mod.
Over Automod. You would like to be mod?
Yeah,
I
I'll
just do
time you
that
out for
really
10
easily.
minutes, Chroma. Just double checking. You sure you want to be timed out for 10 minutes? Because I don't really know if you have a way to communicate if you do this.
This should work. Did that work? I think that worked.
Oh, Sasha wants to be timed out.
Oh, too late now.
Guessing that I'm almost there.
Correct.
I'm gonna try anyway, Sasha. I cannot time out moderator small Sasha unless I. Oh, you can time Sasha out.
I can?
It says you cannot time out the moderator unless you are the owner of this channel.
Oh my god. Yeah, but I'm busy fighting a giant bird.
Yeah, me too.
This thing, it just instantly kills me, essentially.
Me too.
Ah! You have evolved.
That did 1 damage. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm using the wrong arrows. No wonder.
Guessing that I'm almost there.
What if I put arrow in my arrow pack?
I didn't ask for this. What? Put me down. Let me out! Let me out!
I didn't really put you in there, it was just a hypothetical, I'm sorry.
Then where the fuck am I?
That's a question only you can answer.
You put me here.
No,
How
I didn't.
can I be the only one here?
I didn't.
Well, how else did I get here?
That's a good question. Okay, now I can see the
know.
weak spots.
I can actually override this.
Oh, can you override?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I'm on a New Game Plus file, so like I've done all the cauldrons.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. You can override the bird.
Yeah.
Well, that would make it easier.
Interesting, Sasha. Well, that's convenient then.
Poop. I don't like the. I'm not making any progress with this battle.
You'll get it.
It's just it doesn't take any damage.
That's not true.
Guessing
It takes
that
very
I'm
little
almost
damage.
there.
I mean,
Correct.
That's probably true.
and it does this to me. It just clobbers me
If
completely.
you were a giant metal bird and someone was poking you with some sticks, would you clobber them?
Hey, I didn't.
would.
I didn't initiate this battle. Okay, it started attacking me first. I'm just defending myself.
If you say so.
I can knock these things off its wings, maybe.
Well, I broke its cannon.
I've been shooting directly at that cannon a million times and it hasn't broken.
It takes a lot. You have to break off the casing and then you have to shoot it a bunch.
Oh my god. Why do they make? Why do they do this? This is the final boss.
Oh, we're not done.
You could tell me this is
Okay.
the final boss and I would believe you.
We're gonna have some times with this game.
Oh. I'm hitting it with my stick and it's not doing much. I hate that the tagging the target thing wears off after a bit. Like, just leave it. I just...
I think it's because like tagging the target just puts an arrow in its head. It's just the weak. If it's the weak points you're talking about, then like that's just like it just shows up when you scan it every now and then fades away. And yeah,
That
like, I can
bothers
see that
me.
being frustrating.
I can't do anything to this boss. I hate this. Remember there was one of these I had to fight earlier and I just didn't
Almost there.
because
Yeah,
it
you
was
just
too
did.
it was too hard.
Yeah, I remember that, but I believe in you. I think you'll get it.
I don't believe in me.
Okay, well that's not gonna get you anywhere then.
Well, look at this. What is this? This is absurd.
Elena, you can do it.
How? Explain.
I don't know, you've played other games and other hard things in games, you can do it.
There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to get away from the shots. There's not, like, I need like a vantage point where it can't get me and I can just shoot at it freely. But oh my god, it just landed on me! Ah! I'm going to poop so hard that everyone watching will smell it.
You're gonna have to fight one of these anyway eventually, because we're doing
I'm almost there.
the lodge quests.
Oh.
Not the hunting lodge, like the lodge story quests, not like all the challenges.
Oh. Yeah, there's some healing at least.
Yeah, Ruby says believe in the arrow that believes in you. We're doing the meme here.
That's a meme?
It's a figure in the god meme. It's an anime meme.
An anime?
Yeah. You want a double meme.
Gotta get its canisters. Hey,
Oh.
that shouldn't have hit me. I don't agree with that damage. Hey! Hey!
There's like two types of the electricity shots, and one of them's like big and has bigger explosion time, and then the other one's like several smaller
I hate
ones.
this so no, it landed on me again.
When it disappears, it's gonna come back down. That's how you know it's about to do the landing move.
It wouldn't disappear if I could manage to keep looking at it all the time.
No, because it goes up way high in the clouds. And it's
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this battle.
Yeah, well, you haven't done it before, have you?
Well, I've been doing it for a while now.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Elena, I think this is the last one of these you'll ever have to fight.
Oh, there it goes. I see.
My chance.
I can't do a critical hit on it. I've done half damage to it.
That's pretty far. I
So I
think,
think
it'd be,
I
like,
broke its
somewhere
cannon.
in mid section.
It's not shooting at me
Alright.
anymore.
Nice. Oh yeah, it looks like you did.
Out of ammo.
I
There's
love the
Steph.
big bird. They're really cool. I will say it is really disappointing that you can mount like the horses, but you can't fly around on one of them.
I shot it in the
I
leg.
hope in the next Horizon they do have that, but I doubt they will. It's nice enough that they'll have like underwater like actual exploration.
Ooh.
Honestly, I'm excited for that.
Ooh, that does sound interesting.
Aloy's gonna go scuba-ing, although it's more like free diving, but you know.
It doesn't seem to be able to do anything to me now that it can't shoot. It's just kind of sitting there looking intimidating.
I mean that's its main weapon is the electricity generator there, so like it can still do like that short range air burst, it can still hit you with a claw. But yeah, there's not a whole ton.
Well, I can avoid those much more easily.
Absolutely.
Alright, well I guess I've accomplished this now.
Elena, no, this is impossible, it's not taking any damage.
I get very defeatist, okay? I'm sorry.
I know you do. It's okay. Sasha says hit it in the crotch.
I think I have a couple times. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill it with the stick. I think.
I love the way sometimes the stick just like zooms you to the enemies. This is my
Yeah.
favorite thing. I love that.
Oh, I got it.
Scarred your foot.
And like you have to be careful with that with this fight because like that's what killed me. When I was doing the stick
All
fight with
combat
it,
machines killed. Wait, I've killed every type of enemy now?
No, all the main ones maybe.
And
Yeah, all
I
the
got the
main
Stormbird
ones,
trophy.
not the DLC ones. Yeah, and so now you won't have to fight another Stormbird.
Yay.
I think for the rest of the game.
Well, I did it.
Unless there's a side quest.
That's
I'm
just said it
forgetting.
fell so dramatically. Alright. Go to the ruins of Gaia Prime.
It's Optimus Prime.
Wait, I should probably go save first, actually.
I think you'll be able to save it up there, or it'll auto-save. It's a story quest.
I just want to be
after all.
careful.
That's fair. That's fair.
Although trying to be careful has burned me before.
Yeah. What are you saving? The bird
Be
respawns.
down soon, huh?
I,
This
I
bird does
save, I
respawn.
save, and the run is ruined.
The bird respawns.
I'm not going that far away though. Fine, we'll just go to the thing.
There's like only like 2 or 3 Stormbirds I think in the game.
Huh. I mean, they
There's
are
like
pretty
one
tough.
in the desert, one in the jungly area, and then one here, and there might be like another that I'm missing, but like there's not many of them.
There was one like on top of a mountain, is where I saw it before.
Oh yeah, that one. There's that one that also that's a story quest one. Okay, or a side quest one. I mean.
Yeah, which I didn't end up
So-
actually having to fight because I like confused the game out of it.
Yeah.
It was really funny. Oh, that worked in my favor. Oh, it's very red.
Yep.
Horizon Zero Red.
That's the prequel.
Guy's sacrifice.
That's before Aloy's hair was red.
Did this. Cracked the inside of the mountain like it was an egg.
An egg?
Yes, yes. Quickly now. I've prepared the way ahead for you.
So you've been in here before.
To a point. You'll see.
Climb up the outcrop. What if I wanted to climb the in crop?
Since when were
Well,
machines
Silence
the
would yell at you
obstacle
then.
for you? If you could fly, I wouldn't have bothered with the climbing path either.
This guy's voice, he sounds a lot like one of the characters on the Supergirl TV show.
Hmm.
I don't think it's him, but the voice sounds similar.
Yeah.
He sounds like John Jones.
John Bones.
John Jones, the Martian Manhunter.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
There's a DC character named Martian Manhunter. He's one of the Justice League.
It's one of many workshops I've constructed over the years.
There's a hologram of him. I have to talk to his hologram.
For years, I tried to get through this hatch. I drilled, I burned, I blasted.
I think it only sounds like him because I don't have the volume on very high.
Through.
Hmm.
You make it sound like I should apologize.
As I'm listening a little more carefully, it sounds a bit
It never
different.
occurred to me that the way through would not be with force, but with a key. A key in human form. The failure of imagination was mine, not yours.
In her message, Gaia said we could restore her, but after seeing the damage, how could that be?
She said any effort to repair her must come after Hades is destroyed. I concur. Rebuilding the terraforming system now might allow Hades to use it as a weapon. Because of Gaia's sacrifice, it has been forced to search for means that are less convenient.
But do you think it's even possible to restore Gaia?
You know what the cauldrons are capable of. How they fabricate any technology necessary to create a machine. By the same principle, it should be possible to replicate every technology necessary to repair Gaia. But that would take years, and we're counting the time we have left by the hour.
Wow.
Looks like you've spent a lot of time here.
19 years ago, a great explosion destroyed this mountain. Gaia's death, your birth. The echo could be heard as far as the claim. Ash darkened the skies. How they fretted in Meridian as they tried to read this omen.
So Aloy is 19 then.
But when it cooled, I was the first to behold what lay within.
She's very talented for her age.
Over time,
Yeah.
machines closed ranks to protect it. Useful.
I actually don't know if that's her age or not.
Soon, no one dared to come
Well, he said 19 years ago she was born.
except me.
Okay, so I guess so.
I thought you might actually be here this time. Actually, here.
Why? My presence is unnecessary. You don't need my help to pass through this door. You were the one born to do this, not me.
I don't want to deal with that crap.
What?
It's time for me to head.
Because he said the reason he's not here is because he's not needed. And it's like,
Master Override, you
I don't know, are you scared?
Hades. Everything depends on you.
No.
Genetic
No, I'm not scared,
identity
Aloy.
entry authorized. Greetings, Dr. Silva.
Please don't.
You are
Please
cleared.
don't
You
call
gonna
me
poop your
out like
pants?
this. I'm being targeted.
Gaia Prime arrival log.
Mind your footing.
Yeah, leave me alone. You're not even here. If you wanted to instruct me on this mission, you should have come here to help. Leave me alone.
Okay, Elena. Tell me when you get to the outside bit. And then
This seems outside.
what I'm waiting for the stream to catch up. Did you rappel
No,
down
she's
the
enjoying
thingy?
she's enjoying the snow.
Have you rappelled down
No,
the
do you want me to?
Yeah.
Rappel down.
And then instead of going forward, just look around on the sledge area.
Am I looking for anything in particular?
No, never. Why would you be doing that, huh? like explore,
my
look
way
around, not
across.
just like
Oh, I see. I thought you were like,
no.
just look at the scenery. I don't know which way is forward, so.
Forward is the way across the gap.
Oh.
Don't go that way.
Is into this hole forward? It must not be. A power cell. Oh, dang. Well, we're stopping what we're doing and going back to that place where we need to put the power cells.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I want to see what happens.
Okay.
This has
Go.
been we've been doing this quest the entire time we've been streaming this.
Yep.
We're
That's how it is.
we're going to we're gonna do. Yeah, can you remind me where it is?
It's somewhere in the starting area. There's like
I know.
some
Well, I know that.
platform.
Yeah.
It's
Is it the
called
bunker? I found a
Yeah.
bunker. Oh, I'm excited. You don't like the whole dialogue wheel thing? This one doesn't seem as bad as it is in other games, though. What do you not like about the dialogue wheel?
I mean, it's just a way to
Curious.
display choices at the end of the day. Is it just like choices in general? Or like just the way it's displayed?
Like, it's really loading a long time for this one.
These load times are way longer though if you're playing off the disc, like I originally did, until like they
Oh.
released it for free.
They free-leased it.
Yeah, that's really the truth.
Going to the bunk, we're going to the bunker, we're going on a trip. Going to the bunker to grab our stuff and split. I'm kind of misleading about the dialogue the choices are supposed to represent sometimes. Oh, I see. Because it just gives like a short
yeah.
summary.
Yeah.
So it's not so much about the wheel as just opposed to that style of dialogue choice.
Mm-hmm.
Where it gives a little summary. Yeah, I remember there was a famous example of that in one game. Some clip, but I forget what game it was or what it was.
Was it? It felt like it was either the Half-Life
something
or
with
the Mass
beer.
Effect series. Oh, I have
It was
no
something
idea.
with like a beer, and then like it said something, and then you ended up like smashing it or something. That was unexpected.
Oh, Wolf Among Us apparently might be it. This is Chroma.
Oh, glass him. That's it. Yes. There's the dialogue option that just said glass him, and then you'd like throw the glass at him or something like that.
That's pretty great.
Wolf Among Us.
No, Wolf Among Us. I don't know where you got that title from, Lena, but that's not what his title has ever been.
Alright, here we go. We're gonna replace the power cells. Restore power to the mechanism. We're doing it, chat. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The Krabby Patty secret formula is...
Those clamps have the armor locked in place. Maybe there's a way to power up the mechanism, release the clamps.
I remember when I was little, I thought that that episode just cut off. And I thought that like
Only 2 more.
if I watched it again, then maybe I would see what the secret formula was. I didn't get the joke.
There we go. The last one. All powered up. Now to get the dials in
I
position.
thought
There must be some kind of code.
I thought it was just that like that the network had an error and they cut off the very end of the episode. So in universe, how is it that Aloy manages to figure out what these mean?
I mean, you could through trial and error.
I'm assuming that pointing straight up is 0 degrees, and then it's clockwise. Because that
I don't
wouldn't be
like that
that makes
assumption,
sense.
but it might be correct. I don't like that assumption though,
Oh,
because unit circles never start like that. And so it makes me
90.
annoyed that would be the case.
180, 270. Well, 360 would just be the starting position.
Well, yeah, 360 is 0.
I don't know what is 450. Is that just like one more time around?
Yep, that is. It's a 90-degree angle.
In
At the
Game
very
Maker,
least-
it starts the angles start on the right, like to the right
Yeah.
is 0. 630.
One thing-
I don't know what that is. Well, because you just add 90 over and over. But this is math beyond what I can. Well, you know what? If all of the rest of them are correct, I can just keep turning this, and then it'll.
That's exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like at the very least,
Yep.
Ilya would know
I
the
did it.
relations between them. Okay, which way is it?
I was right that it. Oh, or pointing to the left was the one I wanted for the last one.
Okay.
So yeah, it did assume that the starting position is straight up
All right.
and then clockwise.
Bad
what we
video
can do with
game
this material.
takes.
Pick up Shield Weaver. Obtain 1 Shield Weaver outfit box.
Wait, 90, 270, 360, 450. Okay, maybe I just don't have this one
I
right.
can't spare.
Oh yeah, I don't. Okay. That's it. There we go.
Where's the outfit box? Is it in special items?
It's in your inventory. There's just an outfits section of your
I
inventory.
know, but
It's not a box.
it said you got the outfit box. The Shield
Oh,
Weaver
wait,
outfit
what?
box.
Does it really do that? Let me see.
Yeah, where did it go? It's not in treasure boxes. Oh, page 1 of 2.
There's pages. I just realized
Shield
that.
Weaver
Damn.
outfit box. Okay, there you go. Just in case you had too many outfits or something. Got the Shield
Yeah, I
Weaver
already-
outfit.
I already have the Shield Weaver outfit, so like maybe that's why.
That's what it looks like? I thought I was gonna get to be
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Me too. I always found it kind of disappointing, but I guess idea she just scavenges it to like build to fit onto an outfit or something.
That's so disappointing.
It is a little
It
disappointing.
doesn't even have gem slots.
Nope, it doesn't because it doesn't need them.
Oh, is it just really good?
Yeah,
It doesn't have any effects though. I can't tell. Projects a damage absorbing force field. Takes time to recharge when depleted. I guess we'll just wear it. We put into all this work.
It effectively gives you
Oh, dang,
a
look at
secondary
that.
recharging health bar.
Alright, well that's better than anything else could give me.
Yep.
And also she
Also-
sparkles now.
Yeah.
Look at that, chat. Aloy is sparkly. Yeah, okay. This is good beans. Alright, let's go back to what we were doing.
Well, you got that one solved. So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That bird's gonna be there again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk past it.
Okay, good luck.
Sasha needs to go get the pig outside. Sasha said, when I was a kid, I always thought the episodes continued after they ended. So you thought that's how days progressed for them? So when days have passed in an episode, I thought that's because they were continuing the days after the episode? You so badly wanted to know what SpongeBob was doing when you weren't looking? I would imagine what they were doing and make
The
my own
Toy
episodes
Story
in my head until a new one would come out. I thought my SpongeBob DVD would let me see what they were doing. And I thought it'd be like I imagined. Or just continue to the next episode and I was so confused. Oh!
That's amazing.
The thing that I thought about DVDs when I was little, I've mentioned this before. Long-time viewers will remember this tidbit, was that I thought that if I like put the DVD on my finger and like spun it really fast, I would see the show in it. I thought that's how
great.
it worked. Because I knew that the video was saved on the DVD, but I guess I didn't comprehend how it gets from the DVD to the thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was just you spin it really fast and then you see it, cause I knew how records worked, right? Where you spin the record and you hear the thing. I thought it I thought it was like that, but for video.
Spinning is that did it.
Yeah. And since it was visual, I was like, we need to do the thing. Well, it does work like a record. It's just that the grooves in it are extremely tiny, and you need a laser to read them.
There's no physical contact.
Yeah. They are physical grooves, though.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something related to that I found out recently. What is it? Something I was just reminded of for a second, and then I forgot it a second later when I was going to say it. What was it?
Been there before.
Dang it. I found out that, at least something works. Just like that. Oh yes, the way optical mice work is a lot more interesting than I thought it was. Which is that it's literally a camera inside the mouse.
Yeah.
And like they shine a light at like a oblique angle so that it like highlights all of the teeny tiny imperfections on whatever surface it's on. It takes a picture of that, and then when you move the mouse, it calculates the difference between the pictures and knows which way you've moved it. There's some like really complicated math that does inside the mouse, but it's apparently extremely efficient and like really simple to do it that way, and so like no better method for mice has ever been developed. And like,
What, are you telling me my mice with my little rubber trackball inside of it isn't better? Fuck off.
Oh.
Also, the bird isn't here. I guess it must respawn later.
Okay. The problem with the trackball is that it gets dirty.
No, I know. I had one. I've had a couple.
I remember we used to have that when I was little.
Yeah,
I always liked getting the ball out of it.
Yeah, I did that. Fun rubber ball, haha.
Mm-hmm. Somebody had a story about them and a friend stealing all of the little balls out of the mice in the school computer lab and then chucking them at kids on the playground.
That's amazing. Oh my god, someone was telling me the other day that apparently there's this thing called like oh, I forgot the first name. It was something licks challenge now, which is like
oh yeah, the diabolical licks, devious licks.
Yeah, the one where you just steal shit from your school, which is like
yeah, I was meaning to talk
funny
about that.
To me because like it kind of just feels like the natural endpoint of like how our school system is like so underfunded and just shit. Like, of course, people aren't going to value it.
Yeah, that was.
I hate that like it actually has some repercussions, but like.
Yeah, because there was somebody in the comment. I wanted to mention this.
It.
There was somebody in the comments who was like, "These kids are so disrespectful. They don't realize that they're ruining their education by doing this." And it's like, well, that's not their fault. Like kids shouldn't be able to ruin their education. Like that, they should just be incapable of doing that in that way, right? Like. You're just like, it's not their fault. Like you're just highlighting
it's the same old problem of boomers blaming a younger generation. Blah,
you're just highlighting the problem of the schools being underfunded. Like it's not the kid's fault that the school is underfunded, and that if this happens, then it ruins things for everyone. It shouldn't be. They shouldn't be able to.
I mean, it really isn't the kid's fault that they don't value their school.
Yeah.
And like. That just speaks to like the underlying problems there more than anything.
Exactly. It's like the fact that they are capable of ruining their own education is the problem. Like that shouldn't. Things should be set up so that they can't do that.
Chroma said physical grooves, and that's kind of wild.
Instead of grooves. But yeah, I've been thinking about that person who is like, these kids are ruining their own education. by doing this,
Yeah,
and it's like
it's
that
just
shouldn't
bullshit.
be.
It's back into that like fucking like punishment carceral mindset garbage time.
If if the kids can sabotage their own education, then something is wrong with the system that they're in. Because they're teenagers, right? Like they're not.
And it's not even like
They're not
the
gonna-
ability
they're
to
not gonna-
sabotage. Like you would not see it on this scale if they had a reason that they cared about their schools, right? Like
Yeah,
most
exactly.
of the time. Like it's not even about the ability, it's more about like the what makes them think this is okay.
The video
and
I
that's
watched
probably
about
because
it,
like there's no real
um,
value there.
The video I watched about it was by Jarvis Johnson, by the way. I recommend his video on it. It was funny and also informative. And like he showed like a school message from a principal from some place, and he was trying to appeal to them by saying like, do you want to go to a school where this stuff is happening, or do you want to go to a school where there's school spirit and stuff like that? And it's like,
Fuck school spirit. It's just mini nationalism, and that's the shittiest garbage.
yeah, he
ever.
was saying like you're not gonna nobody's gonna listen to that. Like you're not gonna you're not gonna appeal to these kids by saying you gotta have school spirit. It's not gonna sway anyone.
It's like when they do all those shitty pep rallies, and it's just like no one wants to be there in high school. Just like, hey, can we waste your time for 30 minutes? Also, we're gonna make it mandatory, so if we see you in the halls, we're gonna get after you.
And yeah, I as well recommend Jarvis Johnson. He is entertaining.
Not this way.
I got into him watching his videos about those like content farm channels that do really weird stuff, like 5-minute crafts
Yeah, like the
and
family fingers
and
stuff like
troom
that. Yeah. Yeah, I was in like the fucking percussion section of the band, so like we were like required to go to a set
Really?
amount of them, and also like the football games, and like I had no desire to be at any of those.
My school didn't have sports teams.
I wish that had been mine.
We had the closest thing to sports we had was ballet.
Sounds like a
And
much
tap
better
dancing.
school, honestly, for a place like me, for a person like me. It's because like I went from like
Yeah.
a charter school to like a public school in like 9th grade, and then from that like I spent 1 year of 9th grade in a school and then moved to a high school, because in Utah for some reason high school is still 9 through like 12th grade, but 9th grade is in the middle schools for some fucking reason.
That's weird.
And like every time that I would hear, I would
Some
ask, be like, "This
places,
is shit."
the
No,
only
no,
thing-
no, I'm not done.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not done. Every time I would say this is shit, they'd be like, "Well, we have to let you have like a year where you feel like you're on top of everything," and like that is the most
That'd be
bullshit
8th
argument ever.
grade.
Because like, yeah, it'd be whatever grade is just the end of the school. Like, come the fuck on.
Also, the only thing like that I was aware
Welcome
of
back,
was
Ash.
some places have 6th grade still be part of
Welcome back.
elementary school.
Mm-hmm. Ash has got good news and bad news. Oh, good news. They
Gonna
want to
defeat the great evil.
Or yeah, he wants to defeat it. Elena. Ash has requested to defeat
Yes,
the great
it's
evil.
happening right now.
Ash, honor his, or Elena. I'm missing up
Okay,
all the
he's
names.
defeated.
Elena, honor his request.
It's already done. The school I went to, as I'm sure you all know by now, was an art school. 6th grade through 12th grade. And they just built a new building for it this year. And my sister goes to the same school now. And I was talking to her last night about it, and apparently they have some problems with the building. One of which is that there are no drawers. The building has no drawers.
Oh.
She said there's like one drawer in the office, and like in like one other place, and apparently several of the teachers are complaining.
Oh my god, Ash just updates on the NFT bullshit.
There's only one place to fill to get water in the whole building.
Oh my god.
One place to fill up water. There's like 2 water fountains in the whole place. Something like that. She said that there's only one gender-neutral bathroom because the other ones were designated for the staff.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's upstairs. So she said there's some kids when they have to like go all the way through the school to get to it.
Huh.
And I think it's just like single occupancy as well. I saw it when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple other things too. Also, their stuff with the pandemic is apparently sort of just random. Because like I said, they're not doing anything to have the kids distanced.
Oh, great.
But they're not allowing them to use the lockers because of concerns with that.
Huh.
And also they cut out like the homeroom class and there's a thing they had called Access where it was just you sort of like go to whatever class you want and work on stuff from that class. Get like a little extra time with it. They got rid of that because of stuff with the pandemic, but otherwise they're doing nothing. And it's like, well also they require masks at least, but yeah.
Yeah.
And she said the cafeteria is too small for the amount of kids they have. So they said if it's like raining and people can't go outside, they just don't have enough room. Well, Chroma, the old building didn't have lockers at all because it used to be an elementary school, but we were using it as a middle school and high school. So yeah, just had backpacks all the time.
These are her journals. Elizabeth's journals. And they're all destroyed?
Scan them. The Focus can rebuild them, but the process is slow. To us, it seems a powerful device, but its engine is tiny and limited.
How slow?
Days, weeks, years. Concern yourself with stopping entities and extending the future, and you might live long enough to hear them.
Apparently also it has like really tall windows, but only the bottom part, the tiny bottom part of the window is the only part that opens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and also she said some of the teachers are complaining about the blinds on the windows aren't very good and they let a lot of light through, so it's like really bright in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't really block out the sun. But overall it's a much nicer building, but it's like there's some like I feel like there was going to be some like problems, like it wasn't going to be perfect, but I feel like the complaints that they have are like bigger things than you would want them to be. She said, my sister said apparently the person who designed the building was confused why there's only like 2 water fountains as well.
Uh-huh.
Apparently it was designed with more, but they didn't get put in. Oh, and she also said that the school was built under budget too, like they had money left over. And yet there's some things missing. So it's like, well, why? Like did they rush it or something? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so that's been interesting. What does TNT stand for, by the way? I've seen that in regards to the Neopets thing.
It's the network or whatever that owns them, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just, what does that stand for? Is it the
might not.
Neopets? The Neopets?
Oh, maybe it is
truck?
the Neopets team.
Oh, Neopets team. That makes sense.
Maybe
I couldn't
that's
figure
it.
out what the second T would stand for. Let me scroll up. Ash has been writing a lot in the chat while I've been talking about
Yeah.
my school. Well, it's not my school anymore. The one that I went to. Beep. I have beeped live on stream.
Well, it's better than a bup.
Yeah, bups are banned on this stream.
Yeah. Bup.
I'm really confused where I'm supposed to be going. Again,
So
by
you
the
know
way.
that table where you found the journals? Go
Yeah.
there.
I've been there.
Go there.
I can find my way back there now. Okay, there it is. Scanning doesn't do nothing.
No, scanning is not going to get you out
There's
of
no
there.
button prompt. Do I have to hit it?
Nope. You just gotta look around.
There's something in this room. I mean, it's got the little triangles, which usually means something you can interact with.
No, there's...
Journals of Elizabeth Sobeck. There's a little hole. Arrow, I'm confused.
Well, I've told you where you're supposed to be, and you're
Is
gonna
something in
find
this
where you're not.
room?
Yep.
There's nothing in, like, it's literally just this table. And I've scanned the thing that can be scanned. Cursory scan indicates severe data corruption from impact and exposure damage.
Maybe it's the next room over. It's somewhere around here though. Like,
It can't be anything in this room. There's nothing here.
Elena.
Maybe it's this thing? Nope. There's not. There's like a staircase, but I think it goes up. I'm so confused. Search the ruins for the master override, it says.
Yeah, and
You think it's over there? Did you already do this?
yeah, I already came up through here.
Dang,
Elena, it's
people watching
definitely-
this footage later in the future are gonna. I'm gonna look
It's
like a.
definitely in that room.
I'm gonna look like a. Like a dunce.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, there's a. Oh. There's more. I swear. How did I miss that so many times?
It was easier for me to see, I think, because it's daytime outside.
Well, I mean, it's daytime now. Now it was bright.
This is Charles Ronson. I'm logging this 6 hours after final deployment of Gaia Prime.
Yeah, Toad is banned on this stream.
This morning, an access port seal malfunctioned.
What's his name? Who's the guy who's playing Toad in the movie? Keegan Michael Peel?
Oh, Chris
Or Key?
Pratt.
Keegan?
No, wait, no.
No, not Peel. It's
I
Key
don't
and
know.
Peel, but it was Key.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
I couldn't remember this first name.
One of those two.
Detect this facility. Enough for Gaia to be
God, I would have been
destroyed.
interested, except for Chris Pratt, if it
Keegan-Michael
was
Key,
like
okay, I was
a
right.
live action movie. But since it's not live action, I just like no thanks.
Unless the hatch servos were manually
What if he does the same voice that he did in the Lego movie?
from the outside.
Oh God.
I'm
I didn't know that
now
was
switching to a
him.
recording of
Yeah,
the
he played the main character in the Lego movie.
I'm not going out there. Now, what could I signed up for? Either we send someone out, or all of this was for nothing.
It should be Liz's decision.
There's a
When
recording
is
on the
she going
table
to
now.
get here?
Yeah, no, we knew all along, Chroma, that it was Illumination. You know, the Despicable Me people.
Okay, everyone. I've repaired
That
the
has
seal.
been known at least.
Gaia?
So we knew it was going to be animated.
1.4 millimeters.
I just think a live action like Key and Peele Man as Toad and Jack Black as Bowser would be fun. The rest of it, I don't know.
You just forgot? Oh, I see.
It's all right. Gaia's complete. She'll take care of things from here on out. That's what she does.
Not like this.
Yeah, there was an article going around a while back that said that Charles Martinet had not been asked to voice the characters. Like, they didn't even ask him. They just started
Celebrity
getting other
voice
people.
actors, get the fuck out.
Happy trails, Liz.
The only other person that they announced in the movie who is an industry voice actor is the guy who's voicing Kamek.
Take care of each other, alright?
And he did that guy is just a voice actor.
I wanna go.
So they have one voice actor. in
I've
the
got a
movie.
controversial take. It's not pronounced Kamek. It's not pronounced Kamek. It's pronounced Kamek.
Oh,
That's my controversial take
Was the
for the day.
last transmission of Elizabeth Sobeck.
they could have literally had Charles Martinet just voice everyone.
Everything for the hope of life
Would have been
on
so
this
easy.
planet. And we are all in her debt.
Despite the fact that it's a movie about the most well-known video game character of all time, they still thought that that wasn't good enough to get people to watch it. They still thought they needed to market it with these actors. Like, that's kind of skronked up, I feel.
That is scary, Sasha. They're like an SCP. SCP, Nicholas Cage. Right, the idea of an SCP that's just a person is kind of funny to me. Like, as in, like, they're just like a. It's just a real person.
I expect the toads to be like minions in this movie.
Oh god, you're probably right though.
Also,
Now
it had
people
been
are gonna be
rumored for a while
wanting to eat the toads.
that Foreman Spike was going to be in this movie, and that was true. And that's interesting. He's from Wrecking Crew, and has not
Wreck-It
been and he has not been in a game in like 2 decades or whatever. And he was the last time he was in a game was in a Japanese only game. Was Wrecking Crew whatchamacallit on some console? I forget what it was, but it only released in Japan. So I really wonder what the tone is for this and what they're doing. The fact that the role is Toad and not Toads gives you thoughts.
Well, the rest of the toads are just gonna be done with grunts like the real minions. There will be one who talks.
I think Foreman Spike maybe appeared in Game & Watch collection. I think that's what Cassie said.
Oh my god, the NFT people apparently are like, hey, Neopets team, give the Neopets community what they want so that we can just get this behind us and get the NFTs out, apparently, now. That's so weird. Holy shit.
I mean, I always think of Kamek's voice as being like, yeah! Yeah! Like that, you know? So if he doesn't sound like that, I'm gonna be weirded out. They're just supposed to talk to him.
She's gone.
Silence really wants to talk to you,
You
Elena.
knew she couldn't have survived, Aloy. And her
He's locked the
achievements
door.
were beyond exceptional.
Well, her
You really feel like Bowser should be functionally mute?
Responsibility. The only one who could.
That'd be
She was
cool.
better than them.
That's not what I said.
I hope that they have Bowser sing in the movie.
You shouldn't be afraid to admit it.
Chroma said sign.
I know. I think he should
Okay.
sing.
Can't you just for one moment stop calculating and let yourself feel?
Because he sings in Psychonauts
She
2.
sacrificed herself for her friends.
Jack
for the
Black
future,
does.
For life on Earth.
I
Doesn't
mean,
that
Jack
stir
Black
anything
has
in
sung
you?
in a lot of things.
The generosity of it.
But but I've been thinking about him singing because of Psychonauts 2.
It was a rational choice, not based on sentimentality.
You're wrong. Remember, she knew it wasn't enough.
Was
for
it
Gaia to think.
ironically? Ash, please tell me that was ironic.
Feel.
Please, please, please tell me that was
Care to
ironic.
sacrifice to believe in life, enough to fight against hopelessness. If it wasn't for that sentimentality, life would have ended. You and I would never have existed.
Your argument is sound. I'm sorry for your loss.
She said she wanted to go home. Maybe.
What?
Nothing. It's time to go on.
Still searching the ruins for the Master Override. I think that I'm gonna... Do I want to call it good here? Because I need time to
I don't think
spend
we're that
with
far from that, honestly. I think it's just you find the next like little bit and then we go out.
there's a marker for me to go to. Maybe I should go there.
Yeah.
Because I want time to spend on Half-Life 2 today. Because
I
I'm
think
hoping
you'll
maybe
be fine.
finish it.
I think we should finish this quest because like
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe
really
because it's
is.
gonna be a while before we play this again, so maybe we
it
shouldn't
really
stop in the
is
middle of
only
things.
that marker and then leaving. I'm
Ouch.
pretty sure. No, wait, Lena, you're going backwards. What are you doing?
I'm going
Lena, where the
backwards?
fuck are you? Yeah.
I was trying to go towards the marker.
No.
This is the wrong way?
Yes.
What?
Go back to where you were. There's a door.
I thought
You
I
just
had to
opened the
backtrack.
door. No, you just opened the door. The door that was locked, Silence unlocks it. That's why.
Oh.
He's just an asshole. He's like, you have to talk to me.
Okay. Well, at least you caught that before I went like 5 miles in the wrong
Yeah.
direction. Before I forgot where I was again. Jump. There you go.
Elon Musk always reminds me of this like shitty Magic player I knew who was like okay at playing, but also was like really like
Another section at the back.
irritating and like kind of just
Looks
seemed
like
like
it's
a really
about to blast.
big douchebag.
Because it was armored.
I don't know. He had the same look about him. His name was Talon,
I'm on my way.
and like that was really something.
Wait, what was that you said?
Oh, Elon Musk always reminds me like of this guy, this Magic player I knew once who was really
Oh.
shit and seemed like an
Gotcha.
awfully big douchebag named Talon. Yeah.
The one thing that I'm thinking about with him at the moment is there's a channel I like called Let's Game It Out, where he just plays like tycoon games or like simulator games and just breaks them. Just finds like the weirdest ways to play them and that kind of stuff. And his most recent video is really, really funny. It's probably my favorite video on there. He's playing Gas Station Simulator, and there was just a random NPC that showed up who just looked exactly like Elon Musk, and it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And he commented on it. I was like, oh no, it does look like him. What?
No, yeah, that sounds right, Chroma.
I totally recommend Let's Game It Out as a fun YouTube channel, by the way. I think it's my favorite YouTube channel at the moment.
When I opened the hatch, the air rushed in from this side.
Because there was none inside the chamber.
But
Oh dang.
the alphas were in there.
Became a vacuum in here?
I'm locked out of core control. Alpha clearance overridden. What the hell is Omega clearance?
Oh no.
Alpha personnel. Sorry to alarm you, but I need you to listen, okay? To what
Oh
I'm
my god,
about to
some of them
say.
are literally being projected into their real dead bodies this time.
Please, stop trying to access the system.
That's so
okay?
weird.
See, what this is about is, I said stop trying to access the goddamn system. And what I'm trying to say is, I can't stop thinking about the ones who come after us. Those innocents. Those blameless men and women. We're gonna give them knowledge? Like it's a gift?
Ted. We've talked about this before. Apollo has 3,000
Being projected
plus
into their
years
dead
of
selves.
It's not a gift, it's a disease. They're the cure, and we're gonna give them the disease. Our disease? No, we can't. And it's not too late. If we're willing to sacrifice.
It doesn't need to be like this.
It already is, Samina. I did it 3 minutes ago. I've purged Apollo. It's gone. All of it. Every copy.
A sacrifice? It's not a sacrifice, it's cultural obliteration, you crazy bastard! Millennia of culture!
I'm sorry. Really, I am. But sometimes, to protect
Oh, great.
innocents have to die.
Emergency alert. Planting atmosphere.
That guy must have died dead. Oh yeah, now they're all getting to their... What? He just like snapped into his dead body.
Yeah.
That one did. Okay. They're getting into their bodies. How did it manage to maintain a vacuum for like hundreds of years or whatever, how long it's been?
I don't know, it was really strong.
Like you'd think that that would be long enough for a leak to form somewhere. This is a big room.
He killed them all.
I mean, this one is apparently more armored than the others, so potentially.
This is why we were
The time scale here, if I remember correctly, Chroma is like, I think like 200 years or something like that.
It's like, I think it might be less than that.
Definitely at least 100.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, have you seen the state of decay that everything's in?
Oh yeah, I know.
There has to have at least been like a century for that much.
I don't know about that.
Not a void. When the hatch unsealed and
I used to watch the show
their ashes
Life After Humans,
it took them out among the world they
so I
knew,
remember
the world we're living in.
they talked about on that show.
It's a monument to what they died trying to accomplish.
A monument to oblivion.
Not oblivion, silence. Hope.
Let's look at the timeline.
Or Life After People, I think that's what the show was called. Actually.
So,
The master override. That's so small.
let's see.
Now all you have to do is kill
The premise of that show was, what if all of a sudden every human on Earth just disappeared inexplicably? What would happen after that?
So the events of Horizon Zero Dawn begin in 3020. And the earliest,
Wait,
the originally estimated earliest possible
3020?
year where they could, listen, originally estimated earliest possible year where humans can begin repopulating is in 2381.
oh, did you mean 2030?
No, I said 3020.
2381.
2381 was the estimated
Oh, yeah,
year
okay,
when humans
excuse
were
me.
available to
Wait.
repopulate.
But, wait. But that's before 3080.
What? Yes, 3020 is when the events of this game
3020.
begin.
Oh, oh.
Like when Aloy's born.
So that's like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So many centuries have passed.
Yeah, let's see when like...
Sorry, I'm bad with numbers in my head.
So 2066 was the year that everything got fucked.
And this is the year
then
30 or 20.
3020-ish. That's the beginning of Aloy's life. Is 3021 actually. So
this is then like 19 years
We're
after
like-
that. We're in like 3040s.
3040.
Dang.
Yep, 3040. So Aloy's actually like... Wait, if Aloy is born... Yeah, Aloy's born in 3021 and then 3040. So yeah, she's 19.
Okay. Also, it couldn't have been a perfect vacuum in there because there is some amount of decay that has occurred on those bodies. Well, I guess it could have been... Well, there's stuff inside of you that will
Exactly.
do some decay. And it seems like maybe that's all that happened for them?
I mean,
And
they
plus
certainly
it's
did get
cold.
eaten.
Plus it's really cold. That'll preserve them as well. And if it's been like 1,000 years, that's enough time for some amount of decay to occur, even if it happened really slowly. It could be simply that they are just desiccated, right? Like they have just become dehydrated.
Yeah, all you gotta do is add water and they'll be fine.
Well, I don't... They're definitely
Yes.
dead.
No. Just add water.
Is that good?
Try not to fall to your death. The master override doesn't override gravity.
I swear I thought it was like less than a century.
Yeah, I was believing you. I was like, well, maybe this could have been in like 100 years or
Because
so.
I feel like... But yeah, I guess like whatever, maybe not.
That's how you get zombies? Add water to them? Don't forget to water your zombies.
Yeah, can I just like point out how fucked up like this fucking man is, Ted Farrow? Like,
Yeah.
Ted Farrow's a dude who accidentally had the robots go control. He's responsible for this entire disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, we can't let them have the knowledge, so I'm gonna delete it all, and then I'm going
was worried
to
they would
kill
repeat
all the
this.
other people responsible for putting this whole thing together. Like, oh my god, he's such a fucking pompous asshole. Like, he's deflecting the blame of him having done all this, and by making it like...
So you're saying he's a
Elena,
very
go back.
realistic character?
Elena, go back.
Go back?
Yeah, you would go up from before the zipline.
Go up.
Like the zipline that's there that you just crossed, go up from like up around here. I don't know if there's a path, but I mean, I kind of like just went up around the power cell area and just climbed. I don't know where the actual intended path is.
So you're having me do the unintended path too?
Well, actually, no, you seem to have found an intended path. I don't know. Maybe not?
I was doing the weird, like, janky jumps up the side of the thing.
I actually don't know the intended path out of here, so... Yeah. It's just easier, though.
Are we just
Okay, now-
leaving the place?
Yeah.
Can't we
yeah,
just
we're
fast
leaving
travel?
them. No.
No?
No.
Is fast traveling just disabled right now?
No.
Well,
You can fast travel. It's just like you need to go someplace at the end of this. That was at the beginning.
Well, I mean, maybe it's faster to get there if I fast travel to the last save
No, could
location.
you just climb up? You just climb up now. You just gotta climb up.
Yeah, but I don't know where I am. I'm lost. I'm not very good at navigating this place.
All you gotta do is go straight up and through the door.
Oh, there he is.
That's all I was. Yeah.
Imagine
If
if
you
I fast
fast traveled
traveled
there.
and then came back in from outside, how confused he would
It
be.
would have been so annoying.
I think I owe it to
Could you imagine how confused he would be?
How did you get? How what?
Yeah, in that universe, what would Aloy have done to get there? Because the fast travel is just us skipping her doing stuff, right?
Chroma, I hate that you're right.
Buried on that mountain, trapped in that shattered titan. And I served it.
What?
It promised knowledge.
Sasha says she is sad and really wants chocolate milk and some cookies.
Aw, I hope you get some.
You have no idea.
And in exchange?
I helped create the Eclipse. Helped it build a cult, an army to do its will.
Why are you telling me this now?
Because your success depends on knowing this. When I found Hades, the first thing it wanted to know about was the Spire. Not Meridian. The Spire. Now why would that be?
The Spire was created by Gaia.
Which part of Gaia?
Minerva. It's a code-breaking module. Gaia built spires to transmit the codes that deactivated the Pharaoh robots, shut down their biomatter conversion systems. Hades wants to send a new transmission. To wake the machines, so they can devour the world all over again.
Yes.
Ari is pretty great. I sent her that I was turning into a jelly bean and rolling under the refrigerator, and she just said same.
The robots they've resurrected. They're just a means to an end. An army to capture the Spire.
Yes. So Hades can exterminate life all over again. Unless you stop it.
Tell me everything about you and Hades.
I want you to tell me everything. Hades, the Eclipse.
Here I was saying that I wanted to end because I need time for Half-Life 2, and then I'm like, let's get some extra side dialogue.
As yours was so many years ago. In my case, the device was heavily damaged. There was just a flicker of life in it. I spent weeks studying it, attempting repairs, until finally, I succeeded. A whole new dimension of perception revealed, right before my eyes.
How did he repair it? How did he figure it out from studying it?
A faint signal.
How does anyone figure out anything from studying it?
Like I was.
It's a good question.
A real kindred spirit.
I just want to know. I just want to know how he did it.
A lot of guessing and trial and error, I assume.
I still don't like the wires that they put through their bodies.
I think they're neat.
It makes me. It like it hurts to look at.
You've done terrible things, Silence. But
Makes me feel like things are crawling all over my arms.
I can't say you've balanced the scale, but at least you've
I
tried.
do not like.
To be clear, Aloy, I would do it all again. A few more safeguards, perhaps, but basically the same.
Really? So much for learning from mistakes.
Just want to know what the utility of them is. I think it's just
From here on out,
for
the
looks.
rest is up to you.
I think it's actually because like Silence used to be a Banuk shaman, so like I think it's just like literally like part of their like culture
Then I
that they
just
do
Yeah.
can't
that.
get close enough
I was
to
gonna
hate
say
other
it's
you.
just
Banuk
like
shamans have them too.
ritualistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Silence. Where
Like
are you
ritualistic tattoo type of things, you know?
Are they just this world's versions of RGB gamer keyboards? I wish. That'd be funny as hell.
There's so much more to discover before the world ends.
going? And all this?
I leave it
So-
to you, of course.
Elena,
As it turned out,
after this dialogue, the main story quest that you have is the is the ending of the game.
trespassing.
Oh.
So
No wonder that bird felt like a final boss, because it is pretty close to the end.
we need to do the DLC area at least before then.
I see.
So next time. But yeah.
Whenever that will be. Might not be until November.
It might be a while from now, but like that's okay.
It's just a cliffhanger. It's like when you're watching a TV show and they go on
And
like
it's
hiatus
next
before the
season.
yeah before the big
Also,
plot
make
thing
sure
is
you
finished.
stop by the workbench before you quit.
Workbench?
The workbench in the place you're in.
Urine?
Yeah. You're
Craft lance.
Piss. No, I was saying urine.
No, I'm Thanks.
Hey, you did it first.
You put a thing on there. Obtain Silence
Yep.
Lance.
It's the second of the 2 missable damage upgrades for your spear.
I now have a. Oh, they're missable? I mean,
I
you
don't know
could
if
come
this one
back
is.
here.
I don't know if this one's missable, but like the previous one is, because the previous one that you got is from one of the very first quests you did in the game before Aloy's even like left her home area,
Oh,
and I think that one's actually missable.
that,
at least
this
I
is
heard
a
it
this
was
is
at
a
one point.
quest thing, so like it was marked on the map
Yeah.
actually.
Okay, but yeah, the previous one which you have is missable, or at least was at some point.
So anyway, I guess I'll just fast travel out of here,
Yeah.
and we'll just quests. We will fast travel here. We're going back to the big city again.
Yeah, just make sure you don't trigger the quest when we're there next time.
Oh yeah, I guess I should fast travel to the
You
The
you
DLC
can go
area.
there. You just can't go talk to the king dude. I think is the idea because it's talking to the.
What
king
if
that
that's his
begins
name?
the
Is
game.
King Dude?
Yeah, that's his name, King Dude.
Everybody
Also,
say
Ash said
King
you're in
Dude.
trouble, and Chroma said you're in us.
Urine sus. So I should just said urine. Haha, you said urine. Haha, I got you all to say urine. You got pranked.
Wow, Elena, really rude of you.
You've been trolled. This was a mistake, because now I don't want to end here. I want to go back to the to the DLC area.
Why?
Because then I'll remember what we're doing.
Oh, but we don't have to remember what we're doing because DLC area is
'Cause you'll
not
remember
the
what we're
same as
doing?
the main quest. I'll remember what we're doing. I know
Because
that
see,
we
because
will
I would be
not
like,
wanting to
oh, I'm here. Let's go do the quest that's here. And you'd be like, no.
No, I will know because I know the name of that quest. Like I've played it several times.
Well, Arrow play through the game several times moments.
Yeah, I played through it twice. Wow.
Damn. Use the Shadow Warbow's corruption arrows to turn machines hostile to any other machine. The resource used to craft corruption arrows is found on undead corrupted machines. You need fewer ropes to tie down machines when you use a more expensive variant of the ropecaster, like the Shadow Ropecaster.
Wow. Newer weapons, better weapons be more powerful? Funny.
Clear corruption zones to make areas safer. All machines are dangerous, but even more so when corrupted. The antidote potion cures you when you are poisoned by corruption. It also makes you more resistant to this type of damage. Thanks for the tips, game. The Thunderjaw, Scrapper, and Longleg have a detection component that can locate your position when hiding in tall grass. Take out the component to disable this ability.
The rock painter.
I thought the tall net was lifeless.
Yeah, they have little radars.
There's instantly people talking to me here.
Spark of life was trapped within it.
They're talking to each other right next to me, I guess.
Sing the songs of exile.
Anyway. No, not settings. Quit. Ta-da! Well, this has been fun, as usual. I'm yawning. This has been fun, as usual, is what I was trying to say before I started yawning. And Horizon will be on a hiatus for a bit. Sorry for the cliffhanger, everybody. But yeah, we're gonna play Soma next week,
Soma,
which is a game
these
Arrow really
games.
likes. Right? I'm assuming you really like it.
I don't know. Actually, I think it was really neat, honestly. But like, I don't know where I'd put it. I think I
Oh,
like
I
it.
see. You're always telling me to play it, so that's why I assume that
It's
you like it.
It's fun to have shared experiences with more so than anything.
Oh, I see.
Also, this tree is
Oops.
literally floating.
Sorry for hitting my microphone, everybody.
Hello, floating tree.
Oh, yeah, it really is, isn't
Whoa.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you can see I've got the Castlevania collection installed there, ready for Kid Dracula. Oh, hey, thanks for the subscription, Ruby Hexagon. Oh yeah, also we decided what the next emote is going to be. It's going to be a tiny Cassie. Like it's just
So,
going to
like,
be
3 pixels.
no, it's just going to be a little drawing of Cassie, and because it's an emote, it's tiny, so it's tiny Cassie. And I thought that would be fun because I can be like, let's get some tiny Cassies in the chat, and then you can post tiny Cassies in the chat. So that'll be soon. Anyway, I'm gonna let Arrow get going, and
I'm just spinning.
I'm gonna turn the stream off for just a couple minutes, and then I will begin Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Well, we'll begin my stream of it. We're definitely not beginning the game. That was me plugging in my Steam controller, by the way. The receiver for it, at least. But yeah, thanks Arrow.
Yeah, thanks
It's
for
been
having
fun.
me. Bye-bye.
I've enjoyed. Bye-bye.
Bye, chat. Bye, Chroma. Bye, Cat. Bye, not Cassie. Sasha, Ruby, Ash.
And I'll see you next week on here. Come on, computer, let me click on things. There we go. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody else. I will be back in like 2 minutes. And we will begin our next stream. So sit tight. Enjoy Beanbug. And I will be right back.